Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. A blessed Sunday. You know, our readings today are sort of interconnected in terms of what surfaces as a message of God for us in times of crisis, in times of chaos, turmoil, or even troubles that we undergo in life. Our first reading from the book of Kings has a context. Elijah actually just came from his triumph or victory over the Baals of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. No? Kasi alam nyo, yung kaharian noon ay ang mga namumuno naniniwala sa mga Diyos-Diyosan. Hindi sila naniniwala sa Diyos ng mga Israelita. And Ahab, no, with those he called his own prophets of the Baal, no, sort of were contending with Elijah, no, that their God or their gods was greater than the God of Israel. But Elijah proved them wrong. Now, when Elijah became victorious and the prophets, the prophetesses of the Baals, no, were executed by Ahab, he then fled, no, to the mountains, no, because in a way Queen Jezebel was also after him, no? So he knew his life was threatened, no? And that's why, in fact, he said he would want to die already because of the many trials he was facing. But then when he went out of the cave, no, and the Lord manifested himself to him not in the strong winds or an earthquake or lightning, but with a tiny whispering sound. He hid himself and he experienced the presence of God. In our second reading from Paul's letter to the Romans, same thing. Paul, as he testified, no, was in deep anguish. No? He said that because he was trying to teach about justification by faith, no, to his audience. No? They were Gentile converts. There were also Jews, no, who were also converts, no, to the faith, no, of Christ. No? And it was difficult, no, for them, no, just to sort of absorb the teachings of Paul. But Paul relied on his conscience and the strength coming from the Holy Spirit, no? Kaya si Paul nga, pinagpatuloy pa rin niya yung kanyang pagtuturo. Bagamat medyo parang pinanghihinaan po siya ng loob, sabi niya, ang panghahawakan ko ay aking konsyensya at ang bulong ng Espiritu Santo. And then we have this account in the Gospel according to Matthew. No, the Lord, no, walks on the water amidst the storm. The disciples, no, were all fearful, including Peter, no, who, when he faltered in faith, sank, no, and was held up by Jesus. And the words of Jesus, not only to Peter, no, but also to the disciples were, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." No? Kaya mapapansin nyo, no, there is a semblance, no, of narratives, story of the narratives in our readings today. I'm sure we all have our own share of trials and tribulations, no? Yung iba, marami din kinatatakutan sa buhay, dala ng mga dinadaanan nilang ah, mga sinasabing biro ng tadhana, our own test of faith, no? Di ko pala, it could be a health crisis, it could be a financial trouble, it could be a rift, no? Or problem in the family, a relationship with your spouse. Baka may problema po kayo sa inyong anak, no? Tayo po lahat may mga ganyan, hindi po maiiwasan yan, no? Ngayon, pag dumadating po itong mga ganito, no? Given the message of God for us today, no? How can we deal with all this chaos, turmoil, the storms of life? Let me share to you 3 points starting with the letter F. Madali pong tandaan para pag-uwi niyo po, no? Dala-dala niyo sa inyong isip at puso. First, face your fears. Di ba? Yun ho eh. Look at what happened to Elijah. He hid in the cave, but he was prodded or urged to get out of the cave to experience God in calmness, in a tiny sound, in a gentle breeze. Di ba? No? Kaya wala naman hong mga mangyayari pag hindi natin hinarap yung mga takot natin sa buhay. Hindi tayo pwede magkubli. Ang takot po'y parte ng buhay. Lahat po tayo may mga takot, maraming takot. Ang mahalaga, harapin natin ito. Kasi pag hinarap natin to, sinasabi natin, if fear is some sort of, let's say, feeling or emotion deep within, we will be able to conquer our fears. And the first step is to face it. And what is the second F? Fix your gaze on Jesus. Di ba? Napansin niyo ba si Peter? He was walking on the water. But then, what happened? He was looking at Jesus, but he then looked at the, rough waves, and he sank. And then he said later, Lord, save me. And he redirected or reoriented his gaze on the Lord to lift him up. Yan ho ang kalimitan nangyayari. Kaya diba pag meron tayong mga dinadaan ng mga problema, kung saan-saan tayo nakatingin, no? Pwedeng nakatingin tayo sa sarili natin, kakayanan natin, nakatingin tayo sa iba. Yung iba, malayo ang tingin. Kanta daw ho yan ni Anthony Castello, di ba? Yan, malalayo ang tingin. Hindi, isa lang ang titignan mo. Fix your gaze on Jesus. Because when you do that, you show that you are a person of faith. No? Because it is your faith that will save you. No? And we know that the Lord will always be there to rescue us. At ilang beses na pinatunayan po ng Panginoon yan. Sa mga dinaanan po nating mga krisis sa buhay, mga mabibigat na problema, nandito pa rin tayo, nagdiriwang ng misa. We fix our gaze on the Lord whenever the priest raises the host and the cup, the bread and the wine, the body and blood of Christ. We make that assent of faith in the Lord. Lord, tulungan mo ko. Alam ko, hindi ko kaya kung wala ka. Alam ko kung ako lang, malulunod ako. Pero kung nandiyan ka, hahawakan mo mga kamay ko at hihilain mo ko para matulungan, para makalampas sa aking dinadaanang pagsubok. But there is a third F. What is that? Feel the presence of people around you who will be there to accompany and help you during your times of trial. Tingnan nyo, in the gospel, what actually happened? Yes, Peter was not alone because number one, Jesus was there. But number two, the disciples who were also fearful, they were there with him on the boat. Kahit tayo mga takot, basta magkakasama, hawak kamay, di ba? At alam natin, hindi po tayo kailanman mag-iisa. Alam nyo, isang problema kalimitan, kapag tayo ay dumadaan sa mga krisis sa buhay o may matinding problema, sinasarili natin. Pero nandiyan po yung kapwa natin. Sabihin natin sa magulang natin. Sa una siguro, baka matatakot, masyasyak, baka magalit pa. Pero sa bandang huli, tutulungan ka din yan. Kapatid mo, hindi ka matitiis niyan. Kamag-anak mo, kaparokya mo. We are all here, brothers and sisters, one family, committing to help each other in times of need. So, remember those 3 F's, no? To battle the storms of life. Face your fears. Fix your gaze on Jesus. Feel the presence of people around you who will be there to accompany and help you in times of crisis. And you know, we will always be with Jesus and with others, walking on the water and able to cross over and see that at the other end, there will be hope and life ahead.